चल कौन है? अरे ओके, ठीक है। तो बाकी लोगों को, बाकी लोग उनसे ले लीजिए, नहीं तो आप एक ईमेल ड्रॉप कर लीजिए। आपका केमिस्ट्री का ऐसा कोई ग्रुप ईमेल नहीं है क्या? कोई नहीं, जैसे अगर अल्टीमेटली आप अगर क्लास में भी नोट सुन रहे हैं तो वो भी सफिशिएंट है, पर स्लाइड्स रहेगा तो, क्योंकि अभी एग्जाम आपका शायद थोड़ा लेट में होगा, नेक्स्ट मंथ ही होगा। डेट्स आया है क्या आपको? 17 और 24। हाँ, तो एक महीने का गैप होने के बाद थोड़ा सा वो निकल जाता है, तो स्लाइड्स रहेगा तो थोड़ा सा आप ब्रशअप कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। विल स्टार्ट। सो हमने अभी तक जनरल पब्लिकेशन एथिक्स, रिसर्च एथिक्स, हाउ टू प्रेजेंट योर वर्क, वो सब के बारे में थोड़ा सा डिस्कस किया है। और क्या क्या प्रिंसिपल्स होता है एथिक्स, एथिकल गाइडलाइंस, और कुछ एग्जांपल्स लेके हमने भी डिस्कस किया है कि what are the types of misconduct that happens normally during various types of research. So we have to take care of those things we should not do in our research work. So and presenting the work in a good manner also, that is quite important, because we want to tell the audience that we have done some good work. So presentation as well as writing the report and thesis also quite important. So few salient points for that we have discussed. So from there we'll start now where to publish. Hmm. So I told that our work normally we send for publications. So now normally we send for some journal publications as well as present in the conference and the symposium, that is one part, but ultimately we send it for publications in journals. Okay. So there are various journals available. So which journal we should focus? So there are journals which are have published in a subscription type of manner. Means our publications will be their property, and whoever will subscribe to that particular journal, so then they only can see our work, detailed paper they can see. But in BRC has subscribed to many journals, so till you are in BRC you can have the access to many journals. But once you are outside or some university students, so if they want to see a particular article, they have to subscribe that, so they have to pay a certain money, okay, like that. So that is one type of publications. Nowadays this open access publications has been quite means familiar with the research fraternity. So what is open access? You all maybe, आपने पहले कोई रिसर्च या पब्लिकेशंस वगैरह किया है आपने ना? So you may be aware of these things, so this may not be little new for you, but there may be students which are freshly they have joined to this program. For them it may be little new, so you just try to listen, and if I am going any wrong, or you want to add something in between also, we can add those things, okay. So one type of publications nowadays is known as open access publication. So what is open access publications? When it will be available for anybody. Okay. Open access publications are scholarly works that are available online and free of charge. So it will be that publications. Here I am not talking about those sites. You all may be knowing. I'll not spell out those words. From those sites, people download any and every paper, so people do that. So that is not the correct one. Huh? Open access is it is there in the normal internet, not to those sites which have all the publications. So we'll not discuss about those things, because that is completely unethical. So in ethical zone, what is whatever is that we'll discuss. Okay. So open access publications are scholarly works that are available online and free of charge, removing any financial, legal, technical barriers to access for all users. Whoever is having internet, they can see the particular article, they can download the article, they can use that article for their own work, giving reference or cite that particular one. Unlike traditional models, open access allows anyone to read, download, copy, distribute the research, fostering broader dissemination of the and reuse of the knowledge. Whatever is available, so that can reach to more population by doing open access. So this is often achieved through models like gold open access are there nowadays. So where authors pay an article processing charges, APC we normally tell, to make the work freely available There are also green open access and other hybrid open access, those things are also available, where authors deposit their work to the repository also. So how it works? So this is this open access applications are no cost to the readers. Okay, so whoever is seeing that once it is published, the whoever is seeing that site, or they are seeing that particular title, so they can access that without any cost. So there is no legal problem. So you can easily read the full article. You can download even the and you can share with your friends and also all the colleagues. But in normal publications, if it is a subscribe type of, there are restrictions that that may be they may tell that during according to their policy, you may not share with some other colleagues if the person is out of your research institute or something. Like here, BRC subscribed many journals, so we have the soft copies of many articles. But I cannot share with my friend who is sitting in a university, other university, particular university. If that university is not having subscription, my ethical guidelines doesn't permit me to share that article with those persons who are not having that particular subscription. But open access, you can share with your friends and colleagues who are in the same fraternity. So this is no cost to readers. The readers do not pay any subscription fee or on one-time charges to access the particular research, because in normal research publications, to download the particular article, you may have to pay a certain amount. But in free access publications, you don't have to pay anything. So free reuse is possible. Articles are published under licenses, often Creative Commons license, that is CC BY is there. So they permit reuse and distribution with proper attribution. So if you are citing that particular article, you can share with others also. You can reuse also. And also author copyright will be there. In many cases, open access models, author retain the copyright, because in normal publications, we write the copyright transfer. We give our copyright to the publication editor. So the publication site agency maybe. So but in open access, the authors have their own copyright also for that particular publications. So there are different types of open access. So here I have listed few. First one is known as gold open access. This is publishers make all content of their platform freely available, often by charging the authors and article publishing charges to cover the publication cost. Because editors and that publication agency which is publishing, they also have to bear the charges, na? So they take the charges from the authors or certain other things also that we'll discuss. But for they make the once they have the publications, so they make it completely open. So that is known as gold open access. So it is, everything is open there. Next one is the green open access publications. In this, authors make their work available at depositing in the repository or on a personal website after that publication. So there are some repository where you can put your things for publications. So that way, it's a partial type of thing. So or not exactly partial, means you have to put everything in a site. So that authors make their own work available by depositing. It's a repository type of there. So you can put in that site. So your things will be there, and that will be accessible to others. So that is known as green open access publications. And also there are certain journals, they have this hybrid open access. Hybrid means both the things they have. They have the subscription type of journal publication also. They have the open access of publication. During the final submission, they will have that option that in which mode you have to do. If you are going for a subscription, you don't have to pay the charges. But if you are having the open access mode, then you have to pay the charges, the author's file submission. Okay. So this is known as hybrid open access. These are traditional subscription journals that offers authors the option to pay an annual article publishing charges to make their individual article open to more number of people. So this type of different types of open access publications are available. So this thing you can have it in mind. So in where you want to publish. So not only you have to choose the do the work nicely with ethical manners, you have to select the journal also. So where you want to put it to. So this open access, if you are having that publication, it will be visible to more audience. Okay. So if more people are seeing your things, so the citations will be more. So nowadays many things are getting calculated on the basis of citations, means how many people are reading and citing your work. So on that basis of citations, people normally judge. This may not be correct, very correct, but nowadays it is acceptable. Okay. So I'll give some examples. That time it will be more clearer. So this type of open access publications are there. So it has certain benefits, it has certain limitations also. So first we'll see what are the benefits of open access publications. First I have written that it is increased visibility. Like if it is open to all, so anybody can see. So if per person's, because sometimes good title will be there, interesting titles will be there. So if you want to go for to see the more details of that particular work, it will be like this. It will be under subscription. You pay the charges. Like if we are working in BRC, we cannot pay any charges on our own. University professor, they may put that pay that charges also. But sometimes the payment amount will also be quite big that time. So that those things are all the other things. But here, if it is an open access, it will anybody who is interested, they can have the look. So if they are having the look, then if your work is really interesting, they will cite. So that is as simple as that. And also broader collaboration is possible. Open access facilities facilitates collaboration and knowledge sharing among researchers globally. So if you are having open, some other person who is out other part of the world also, so they can, if they want, they can have the collaborations. So they should know you and they should know your work. Then only they will come up with the collaboration. So if it is your work is not open, so how they will collaborate you? So through some known person, sometimes collaboration is possible, but if your work is open to all, it will be having more probability that it will be, you will get more collaborations from some other person also. And then I always tell that collaboration is always good, because instead of competing for a particular work, if you are collaborating, you will definitely get more profit from that work. And also societal benefits you get, it provides access to valuable information to students, policymakers and general public, including the research that including the research that taxes have funded. Some funding agency is there, okay, and some policymakers are there, so whether to fund that particular institute this much of amount or not. So how they will see? They will see from the your research work. So if your research work is open, they can, if they want, some committee, they can just go through your research things. But if your work is subscription, I'm not telling subscription is not good. Subscription is very good. Open is also having certain limitations. But if your work is open, the other persons will be easily seen those things. Okay. From students to policymakers, all the type of a person can see your work. It will be more open. So these are the various benefits which normally we have for open access journals. So, yeah, pardon? अटेंडेंस आया नहीं? वहां पे वो पर्सन नहीं है? कोई एक जाके बोलेंगे? क्योंकि नॉर्मली दे ओनली ब्रिंग, आई डोंट हैव एनी फोन और समथिंग. हाँ, कोई एक जाके थोड़ा सा बोलो, वहां पे रहेगा रहेगा. अगर नेक्स्ट सामने भी रहता है वो आदमी से, नॉर्मली ये सामने ही खड़े रहते हैं. देर ना. So there are some key considerations for this open access publications. First is article publication charges. APC is what I have told in the previous slide. So where this open access publications are free to readers, and gold open access models are often require authors or the institutions to pay publication fees, because anyway for publications they require some amount. Otherwise, how they will sustain their publication agency? So they have to take the money either from the authors or maybe the author institutes. Like in BRC subscribes to various journals. So BRC pay the amount. We don't pay, and we are not allowed to pay also. Okay. So BRC pays to many, subscribe to many of the journals. So those are open to us. So if you are going for open access, right now in BRC it is not that easy. So you have to convince the higher authority that you want to have open access. Otherwise, BRC only has access to many journals and they subscribe also. But open access fees BRC normally do not give. So for particular things, case to case, it may vary, because sometimes back our chairman used to tell that if you are publishing in Nature article, definitely BRC will come forward to pay your charges. But if you are paying, if you are telling that I am just putting my work in a small normal journals are not bad sometimes, but if it is a low impact type of journal, so BRC may not pay the fees. Okay. So open access, if you are going for, then you have to see that where you are working or whether you can pay the charges and all those things. So funder requirements, we have to take it into consideration. Many research funders require their funded research to be made open access. So many research the funding agency nowadays says that whatever, if they are funding to you for your work, so you have to go for open access, so that that fund will be properly utilized, they will feel. Because if it will be, you got the Hmm? Uh, for students, it will be little tricky actually. You may pay, but your guide will be there, na, as the corresponding author, or maybe like that. So he or she may be having some difficulties. So that we have to clear. I am not really. I'll ask some other my dean academic also, and tomorrow I'll just come back with this answer. But I feel that it will not be possible, because you will not be corresponding author in the beginning, so your guide may not be allowed to do that. Okay. But once you are going out of this, and you are joining some institutes or some other agencies, then you can go for this type of open access publication. And also nowadays this open access is partially open access, this type of, sometimes they waive off the things also, that type of things also happens. So you have to see case by case. Okay. And so that's why I told that funder requirements, that there are certain funding agency nowadays, they insist that if they are funding to your research work, you should publish in open access, so that it will go to the more number of public. Okay. And also reputable sources. It is important to ensure that journals adhere to well-established peer review process and standards. Like many journals nowadays are, I told, are spurious, and some spam type of journals are there. So they also looks like some open access journals. Okay, so they charge you for to pay that editorial fees, or that publishing fees. But those after certain time they may retract also, that journal may stop also. So you have to avoid those type of circles. So whenever you are publishing, we are going for a publications open access journal, things you have to keep in mind, that a journal should be reputable. Otherwise, your work may all get lost within 1 or 2 years maybe. Okay, so those things also we have to keep it into mind. So charges typically range from $1,000 to $3,000. So this is not a small amount. This is a quite good amount. Okay. So, like Nature Communications, if you are sending, the amount pay is normally more than $5,000. $5,000 is it's not a small amount; it's a big amount for your publication. So whether you can afford that much of money or not, so you have to see. But few open access journals are also $10 they charges. So as much as $10 anybody can afford. So you can pay that amount. But then you have to, if you see open access journal is good, but if the amount is less, you just keep in. And the beginning I told them, whenever if it is a free or something is there, you have to keep it in mind that first question yourself whether that is right or not. So if they are charging $10, just see that whether really that journal is worth publishing or not. Otherwise, your simply $10 will go. It will not be a proper publications. Okay. So from $10 to $10,000 publications fees are there. So very good journals, high impact journals sometimes, if it is open access, they are charged up to $10,000 per article as publication fees. Okay. So you have to choose where you exactly you want to publish your work. So no fee open access journals, also known as platinum or diamond, do not charge either the readers or the authors. So this is access journal nowadays available. So it won't charge any money to the the reader also. Like gold access journal, it will be free to all the readers, and that's why it is called diamond type. It doesn't charge the authors also. So where publishing has to be done, and it has to have some charges also. So where they will get the money? These journals use a variety of business models, including subsidized advertising, membership dues, endowment, and volunteer labors also. So that's why from that they get their publication fees. So they don't means, take the money from the readers as well as from the authors. But those are quite specific type of thing, and publication in those things also, it's not that easy nowadays. But if you are feeling like that you have to go for a platinum and diamond, so you can explore that thing. Okay. Subsidizing sources range from universities, library, museums, or foundations, societies, government agency. Agency will be there from where this publishing agency will take their money for open access publications of good works. Okay. So a lot of rigorous that editorial and that reviewing process will be there. So because whenever they are getting some money from the other agency, they are also questionable. Okay. A main reason authors make their articles openly accessible to maximize their citations impact. Open access articles are typically cited more often than equivalent articles requiring subscription. This is a general statement because if it is open access, more number of people there is a chance that more number of people will see your things and completely see your things. So if they are completely seeing things, yeah, so your the citations the probability will increase. But I told that if your title is so good and your abstract is so good, without going to the article also, your article will be cited. Okay. So you can improve your quality, so to avoid paying fees also. So you have to judge where exactly you want to publish your research output. Okay. So there are certain drawbacks also for open access. I have listed few. As I have already told that it is expensive for various researchers. So if you are working in a university and this journals require $1,000 to $5,000, so that much of money, whether you can able to pay for each student. One research fellow will be there in the university, and there will maybe some 5 students, and 5 students wants two publications per year want to publish. So that much of money whether the researcher will have. So these things is a questionable. So expensive, it may be expensive for the researcher, while you the reader do not pay anything for open access. The common that the cost comes from somewhere, that is the researcher, normally the authors. The authors are other authors employers or the academic department where the authors are working. They pay the cost of the publications even for open access publications. So these costs can prevent authors from publishing if they do not have the funds upfront. Okay. Like if it is a lower income country like that, like African countries, they may not they may do some good work also, but if they are not having that much of good funding for their research work, they will not be able to publish in such journals. Okay. So quality concerns is also there in case of open access, because sometimes these journals in the taking by taking monies, they are answerable to certain agency if they are properly means open access, and they are not charging the authors even. So they are charging, they are taking the monies from some other persons. So that funding agency may influence the publications also. So the quality that quality maintaining the quality, sometimes it is little questionable. So while concerns about the quality of open access research are willing, it is still an issue. Nowadays this quality problem is not that much as it was little earlier, but still then these possibilities are there. Results from a survey in 2014 by Nature Publishing Group and another agency found that 41% of humanities, business, and social science academics were concerned about the quality of publishing in open access journals. So, if 41% of the people are thinking that there is a quality concern, so definitely something may be there. Okay, but these are just informations. We cannot take the results of such research output as a proper law. It can be a guidelines. Okay. So journal reputation far outweigh an article's open access status, but the speed of publication process without through proper review makes sometimes academics nervous. Sometimes the open access journals publish the work very fast. Sometimes they will tell that last time I show you an email, na? So they were asking me to send the my publications and they will be publishing within 15 days. 15 days is a very small time. Complete reviewing process by 2 reviewers or 3 reviewers. Nowadays it takes little more time. Even I cannot review within for 5 days whatever review I get. And sometimes one a few journals are taking 7 reviewers also. Just now I got a reviewer comment. They have put 7 reviewers comments. So it is taking lot of time for the company. So that review is really good. You improve the quality of your paper. But if you are publishing very fast, that reviewing process may be little questionable. I will not tell that it is always wrong. Some persons are there, so who review the things very fastly. So within 10 days is also sufficient for the review process sometimes. But normally, if it is a review process is a very short time, the quality may be compromised. So that maybe it will be there. As the survey found that 94% of more than 21,000 authors surveyed said that the journal's reputation and the number of citations that the article received were most important when it comes for publications. So if it, even if it is it is not having open access, if it is the site that impact is good and the journal is good, so they will go for that type of journal. Like if you ask me, I'll prefer publishing my analytical chemistry. Na? So in analytical chemistry fraternity, we always feel that journal analytical chemistry that is considered as the best. Even if the that impact factor is not more than 10, it is some 6 around only. So it is a viable type of thing for analytical chemistry fraternity. So I'll definitely go for an analytical chemistry publication rather than putting my work for a open access and or some high impact journals. Okay, so like that, every person will have their own view. So now, next one is the financial issue for the journals. If authors cannot pay the paying amount that journal fees, the research warrants publications in an open access journals. Journals bear the brunt of the cost. So journals sometimes if the authors tell that if it's a good work and they don't have the money to publish that particular work, sometimes the publication agency they agree to publish that particular work by paying from their own sources. So sometimes the publication agency has to burn the publication charges. So it is a financial burden for the journals also sometimes. Traditionally, journal subscriptions funded the cost of the disseminating research. That method is no longer sustainable because of open access. So open access, it's a little different. So lack of long-term preservation and archiving. This is also another issue. If you are say, putting your work for a normal subscription type of journal, once you publish that, it will be there in their archiving for almost all the time till the journal exists or all the time that work will be there. But this open access journal sometimes they have that time period only. Okay, for this much of period only they will keep it is open. Okay. So traditional publishers often invest in the long-term preservation of their content, ensuring that it remains accessible and usable for future generations. So like I am here in BRC, so I can easily access the journals which are in analytical chemistry or some other Talenta type of thing, which are published in 50s. So open access may not have the access to that long period. Okay. Sometimes we feel that why to go for so long old age publications, because nowadays normally we prefer publishing in recent we cite the recent publications, because many times the journals also ask for recent publications you have to cite. But there are certain works which are benchmark works which has been carried out very long time, that also which we have to cite during our publications. So those things you may miss if you are not having this type of archiving. So lack of long-term preservation or archiving for open access journal is also a drawback. Many open access journals do not have their same level of resources or commitment to preservation, which can lead to data loss or decay over time. So with time, your data may lost. This can be particularly concerning for researchers who are working on long-term projects and who need to access older research work for that. So like we in this atomic energy field, So sometimes we have to access the older version also, because some work has been carried out quite long time due to certain things, it has been stopped. But now also we can, because for many years people have not worked. But if we are going for a new type of reactor, those old type of work also may be utilized. So we want that type of information also. So that type of thing in open access journals may not be available. So you have to see that in that open access journal, how much archiving period they are prescribing. Okay. So here I have listed a few just journals like Nature Communications, and it is these are all open access field I have copied. So it is having a article processing charges of 5019 Great Britain pound. So this is so much of rupees you have to pay. Okay. Like Cancer Technology, the charges are 1,340 pounds. And this Talenta Open, Talenta is a common journal for chemical fraternity, even analytical chemistry. And earlier also our colleagues used to publish in Talenta. So this particular, it is having a dual version. It is having a open as well as the subscription mode also. If you are going for the open access mode, the annual sub, कुछ है दिख नहीं रहा है? ओके, जस्ट एक मैं स्लाइड शेयर कर दूंगा तभी दिख जाएगा। ये जस्ट मैंने क्या किया है ना, आपको जस्ट बताने के लिए कि ये दिस टाइप ऑफ पब्लिकेशंस आर गुड, जर्नल्स आर देयर where it in open access mode there that publication fees is quite high amount. So if you are choosing for them, so you have to see that whether you have the sufficient funding for paying that. Okay, like this Talenta is having 1800 USD, and physical review is 4550 USD. So lot of money you have to pay. uh, okay, koi just excuse means I apologize that fonts are not that good for your thing, but I'm just wanted to convey that, because इसीलिए मैं क्या किया था ना, जस्ट कॉपी पेस्ट किया है मैंने, उसको कुछ टाइप भी नहीं किया था, जैसा था साइट में. So exactly that I have just copied and pasted here to show that this much of amount we have to pay in open access journals. Okay, but it has its own benefits also. It is going to lot of people. So you have to think that whether to go for a public open access journal or subscription mode type of journal. So concluding, I have just written that open access can help your work to reach new readers beyond those who are easy access for that research library, such as policymakers, non-government agency, media, educators. Media persons also can see the things, and if they have found that your work is really good, sometimes they will publicize your also work. With open access, you are free to share with your research around the world with no restriction or paywall. So in the conclusion, I have just written that open access journals offer several benefits, like we have discussed that. Also, it has certain drawbacks. So as the demand for open access continues to grow, it is important for stakeholders to work together to address these challenges and ensure that open access publishing remains a sustainable and ethical practice that make benefits everyone involved. So whoever is involved in open access, they should all get the benefit. So it should be on the ethical way also. Okay. So these are the various things I wanted to convey for this particular open access journals. So next one we will see that what is indexing database or citation databases. So nowadays, बोलिए. Uh, Green open access, we can go for that, but there you have to do all the repository. But I'll have to means find out more reasons not to, why not people are going for green access. I'm not much really aware of that particular reason, but because a lot everything you have to put in that repository, but publications, how many journals are going for green publications, that I'm not very much aware of actually. Sorry. Maybe tomorrow I'll just go through the things and I'll come back. Okay. If somebody knows why people are not going for this green access, green open access, somebody knows. Hmm. They don't have this green. Yeah, because I have seen whatever is there, gold open access they have, and otherwise subscription. So these two modes only they have. But I have not seen many good journals which are having this green access publications type of options. So that may be the reason. But with gradual progress of time, so those things also definitely will come down to certain means more proficient manner in the future. So when you will be publishing that time, maybe more green options will be there. Okay, but still then I'll tomorrow I'll try to see and come back. Okay. So next one is the indexing databases, citation databases. So a lot of databases are nowadays available in internet where your citations are, you can see whoever researchers are there, whatever journals are there, whatever is cited. So all the details you can get it from this type of indexing databases or citation databases. So normally nowadays everything is getting judged by number of citations of your work. So people see these things also very nicely. तो आप लोगों ने भी देखा रहेगा ना. So before seeing the whom to join, so have you seen somebody's Google Scholar H index, I10 index, and others? You might have seen ना. बट किसी किसी का होता नहीं. मैंने तो अपना भी अपडेट कभी नहीं करता हूँ. तो मुझे मेरे जूनियर्स ने बोला था, सर आप कभी आपका गूगल स्कॉलर तो अपडेट करते रहिए. मैं बोला कि ठीक है, बट वी आर वर्किंग इन नॉर्मली इन सच ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. Here it is a little different. I am not working in a proper university, but now I am regularly teaching to JRFs also. So now I have to update those things also. And huh? नहीं, वैसे मेरा बहुत ज्यादा पब्लिकेशंस में नहीं है, और उतना भी शायद वो सब आई एम नॉट ओरिएंटेड फॉर दैट. आई एम टीचिंग, दिस इज फाइन, बट getting high impact or those things, because our work is little different. Our analytical and contributing for the department, those are more important for us rather than publishing, because we are not exactly, I'll tell about myself. I'm not from a division where publishing is the main motto. My first work is service for the department, providing analytical service to the Department of Atomic Energy. So there my work is towards that. Then if I am going for this, there will be two things. I am doing that, but so that way sometimes this is people use this as a yardstick, but I'll tell that this is not always a yardstick. You can if it is a pure research person, then you can use as a yardstick, but for a government researcher like a institutes person, so it can be a yardstick with plus something. Okay, that plus thing you have to find out what is that plus. Okay, so somebody wanted to go at 3:15. You have gone. Okay, fine. So indexing databases and citation databases are both tools to managing and accessing informations, but they have served different purposes. Indexing databases optimize data retrieval with a specific database, while citation database track and analyze and scholarly citations to access impact and influence research. So indexing databases are they will just have the index of the whatever work has been carried out, and citation database, it will have the more detailed version. So it will also analyze what all the scholarly citations will be like. The Scopus आपने सबने सुना रहेगा ना? Scopus, Google Scholar, those type of things. So indexing databases are to enhance the speed and efficiency of searching with a database by creating indices like an index in the book that allow the system to quickly locate relevant records. Example is a library catalog. Instead of searching every book on the shelf, you can use the card catalog. So in BRC, if you see, there are some computer system is there. You have to first log in and search the relevant words. It will tell that which are the books available in that particular field. So you can search those. But nowadays, but people don't search for books. They normally search for journals only. But a lot of books are also there. So you can search in the different library also. That is known as indexing database. So in our time, normally this type of search engines were not there, internet was not there. It's a complete different era I'm talking. But that time, what we used to do, we used to go to the library, and in our library, some abstract index databases were there. So abstract indexes book will be there. So in that, we used to search the particular word. Like I am searching his particular, let us assume, oral cancer. Some people are working on oral cancer. So from the abstract index database, I used to search that oral cancer. What are, then I'll go to the abstract booklet where I will get the, in that particular year or something, what is that particular, that abstract we will get, and from that abstract we used to see that whether to go for to see the journal or not. Like that nowadays you are getting the titles and the abstracts in the internet also. So that time we used to go for this indexing databases also. So citation databases are to collect, analyze and scholarly publications, often by indexing references or citations between them. So examples of citation databases are Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, etc. These are known as citation database because it also gives lot of information about the particular publications or the researcher, of their quality of research, number of publications, a lot of data will get. The researchers use citation databases to find the relevant literature, assess the impact of their work, identify potential collaborators, track the evolution of the research also in the particular field. Okay, so here a lot of information we can get from this type of citation database. So here I have listed three whatever I was telling: Web of Science, Scopus and Google Scholar. So this you may be knowing. Google Scholar, Scopus वगैरह आपको पता है ना? ठीक है? So I'm not going to details of this particular thing. So these are available. So you from internet you will get the details. So these are sites where we'll get lot of information about that particular work, whatever it is citing, how many times, and what are the authors in that particular area. Everything you will get. So now I'll be telling about nowadays people are more focused on impact factor of various journals. आपने नाम तो सबने सुना रहेगा ना. So whenever we are going for publications, how to judge that publications is that journal is good or not. Some yardstick has to be there, plus something will be there. I told you na, only the yardstick may not be sufficient. So impact factor or whatever site score I am going to tell, those things you can take as a just a tool to see that whether the journal is doing really good or not, but it will have their own limitation also. So along with these things, you have to see the reputations, you have to see the field, those things also you have to consider. Okay, so normally people see the whether the particular journal is having a good impact factor or not. So we see, we always okay, what is that impact factor of that journal? Okay, it is a 6 impact factor, then it must be good, we feel. Okay, sometimes people are saying that okay, 100 impact factor, that type of also publications are there, but for different field the impact factor may be little different. So those things we'll just see now. Okay, but if the impact factor is normally more, so we can tell that is yes, definitely the journal is doing really good. Okay, कुछ बोलना है? हाईएस्ट इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर मैंने जो देखा है, वेट 200 समथिंग, 254 2024 में था. तो ये कैंसर जर्नल फॉर क्लिनिशियंस ये था. ओके, so the impact factor of a journal is a measure how frequently its articles are cited in other academic publications. So one journal publishes the things and how many times other journals cite that particular publications from that particular journal is given by the impact factor. Okay, so impact factor is a numerical value that reflects the average number of citations received by articles published in a specific journal over 2 years period. Impact factor is a scientometric index calculated by Clarivate Web of Science. After told na, three things, Scopus and all. So from Web of Science, they take this impact factor. So impact factor is from this particular journal citation report. They don't take from any internet. So they go for from the journal citation report, a product of ISI, that is Institute of Scientific Information. Impact factor will be a quotient factor only, will not be a quality factor. Why it is not a quality factor, that we will discuss now. So impact factor will not be related to quality of content and the quality of peer review. It is only a measure of the frequency with which the average article in that journal has been cited in a particular time period. Okay. So why impact factors are important? The impact factor indices indicates the standing of the journal in the world, because when there are thousands of journals available in the world or in the internet, which way we should choose for our publications. So there should be some guidelines. That's why this impact factor, site score, those things has come into picture. So this will give the information that okay, if the number is good, then definitely that paper, that particular journal's papers are being read by other communities. Okay. So if you are presenting your work in that particular journal, so more number of people will see that particular thing. So for reader, which journal I should read, that you can get some information from the impact factor. And for authors also, which journal I should send my research work for publications. These are the main reasons why this impact factor is said to be important. So how this is calculated? I have written that equations. In a given year, the 2-year journal impact factor, because it is impact factor is calculated in 2-year basis, is calculated by dividing the number of citations received in that year for publication in that journal were published in published in the 2 preceding years by the total number of cited items published in that journal during the 2 preceding years. So here I have written that citations y is given by impact factor y is given by citation y divided by publications y minus 1 plus publication y minus 2. ये जस्ट इक्वेशंस मैंने लिख दिया है, तो उसको जस्ट एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए आई हैव गिवन वन एग्जांपल. So nature had an impact factor of 41.577 in 2017. So how it has come? So number of citations in 2017 was 74,090, and previous year and previous to previous year number of citations of that journals were 880 and 902. So 74094. So like this. 74090 divided by publications in previous year and previous to previous years. Those things I have calculated, and the number is coming as 41.577. So like this, impact factor of various journals are getting calculated. So previous 2 years things they consider while publishing. So this means on average, its paper published in 2015 and 16 received roughly 42 citations. So if you see all the papers, so number of citations are normally 42 for each paper. So 2017 impact factor are reported in 2018, because in 2018 only they will come to know that in 2017 how many total citations has come. Okay, so they publish the data in the next year only. So they cannot be calculated until all the 2017 publications have been processed by the indexing agency. So if you are getting the impact factor, the previous year's things only you will get. Okay, and that previous to previous and last 2 years citations they will take as the publications, they will consider, and citations in the previous year they will consider it. Okay, because 15-16 whatever is published, those things are more probable they will be published, they get the citations. So on that basis they calculate the impact factor. Okay, so what it signifies, and high impact factor suggests that the journal's articles are frequently cited by the other researchers, indicating its significance and influence in that particular field. So how to find it? You can find a journal's impact factor on the Journal Citation Report JCR database, which is a part of Web of Science. And for all the if you just type the Google the impact factor particular journal also, you'll get the impact factor. And if you are going for any of the journal nowadays, in the journal site also on the top they write that the impact factor is how much. Okay, so those are their numbers, you will get it. What is considered good impact factor? So there is no single answer for this, as it varies by field. Generally an impact factor 10 or higher is considered as high, while an impact factor 3 is often seen as good. For analytical chemistry or chemistry fraternity, we consider that 3 or 4 is a very good impact factor, because publishing in a 4 impact factor journal is really tough. It's not that easy. Sometimes we try to publish in good journals, but impact factor 3 and 4 is also quite good in our field. But if you are going for clinical research or some psychological type of things, there the impact factor, high impact factor journals will be there. So there I'll just show you something. So where higher versus impact factor also you can get means aimed at for publishing your work, but for normal chemistry and physics type of things, this 4 5 impact factor is considered as a good impact factor. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, because some journals they are not, first of all the field is little narrow, it is not a very broad field. Even I'm telling na my ultimate goal is to publish my work in analytical chemistry. I have not yet having a publications in analytical chemistry journal, which is impact factor is around, I think, 6. It's not a very high impact factor. I am having a publications in 8.2 impact factor journal, but my aim is not getting satisfied getting that 8.2 impact factor. I want to publish my work in analytical chemistry, which is a benchmark in my field. So you have to see in your field which is the benchmark journal. So I am telling these impact factors are tools to just guide yourself to choose the good journals. But some reputed journals, some journals which are having their name and their reputation, so those are you cannot compare with high impact journals. Okay, so those journals may be having a limited scope, like in my field is normally nuclear analytical techniques. So nuclear analytical techniques, the publication field is much more narrow compared to the environmental or bioscience field. Okay, so my work I cannot put it for publication in very high impact journal, because in the nuclear analytical field, all the journals are having most of the journal impact factor around maximum 1 to 3. So I cannot put my work other journals where more impact factor is there, they will not accept my. So and I don't want my paper to be there, because I want to show it to my fraternity. So if I am going for my fraternity, so I have to choose journals which are good in my field. So that may not have the scope, that audience scope may not be that wide for the high impact. Okay, so it depends upon the high, how much people are reading. So if it is a nuclear field or radioactivity field, many people will not read it. Okay, so the impact factor is not going to compare with a cancer research field. Okay, like this. Okay. So what is considered good impact factor? I have told. So it has having some limitations also. So it is sometimes disciplines, थोड़ा सा जस्ट इतना बोल देता हूँ, उसके बाद छोड़ दूंगा, नेक्स्ट क्लास में जाएंगे. So discipline specific it is. Citations patterns vary across different fields. I have told that for biological cancer research and all this, the lot of people read and cite, so there the impact factors normally high. Making direct comparison between journals in different disciplines is unreliable. So different means field to field, thus the impact factor may there is a possibility that it will vary a lot. So you should not compare my journal, intended journal, to other person's intended journal. So not a measure of quality. Impact factor only reflects citations frequently, not the actual quality of the research published. If it is a very good piece of research also, if it is published, and it will not, because it is an average type of things. So one paper may be having a good quality, but other papers are also getting published which are not that much cited. So that is averaging out. So that quality sometimes it's not getting reflected properly. Okay, so not all journals have an impact factor, because there are many good journals also nowadays. Upcoming journals are there which are not registered in those databases, so they are not having the impact factors. So if you are publishing those things, so your paper will not be having an impact factor. Okay, so it can only be calculated by journals included in Web of Science databases. If your that particular journal is included in the Web of Science database only, that will have impact factor. Otherwise, that will not be calculated in that. So those things also we have to carry. So these are considered as to be certain limitations, but still then these impact factors people use as a yardstick. So new journals which are indexed from their first published issue will receive an impact factor after 2 years. Because if new journal is coming and it is getting registered in Web of Science, after 2 years only they will be getting an impact factor. Because 2 year citations they have to include in the calculations. So like that, the journal that are indexed starting with a volume other than the first volume, it will not get impact factor until they have indexed for 3 years. So like that, if from the big for if a new journal is coming, and if in the first year they are not getting the means indexed in the data science database in that Web of Science database, 3 years they have to put it into account. Then only they will get that impact factor. So that's why so that there are some new journals are there which are not having any impact factor. Also, those are also quite good journals. So we have to see that what are the good journals are coming also. After a few years, they may get impact factor, but at present they may not have impact factor. So, but the value of impact factor depends on how to define citations. So, what is citations? Citations is different for different definitions also. So, here I have written that how to define citations and publications. The latter is often referred to as citable items. In current practice, both citations and publications are defined as exclusively by ISI, that institute, as follows. Publications are items that are classified as article, review, or proceeding papers in Web of Science database. Other items like editorials, corrections, note, retractions, and discussions are excluded. So there are various things which are included in this citations. So citations is not only the journal citations, there are other things also which are getting registered in that particular Web of Science. So if you are those things are also taken into account, the impact factor will be little different. Okay. So that's why normally whenever this is the impact factor we call, this is known as JCR impact factor. So here I have just listed the few of the शायद numbers आपको थोड़ा सा दिखता नहीं रहेगा. Left side I have put some physics and chemistry type of journal, and the right side I have put some cancer related or biology related journal. I'm not telling that all the biology students will have the should aim to 50 or 100 impact factor. No, it's not like that. So I've just I have written that journals in fundamental sciences like biochemistry, cancer research, and cell biology, etc., and neurological sciences, they get higher impact factors because a lot of people, recent people read that and cite that thing. But if you see our paper, we sometimes cite older year papers. That will not be reflected in the particular citation, whatever is calculated. Okay. So here the left side, you see analytical chemistry is having a 6.7 impact factor in 2024. So this is considered to be a best journal in that in our field. And also ACS Omega, it's only 4.3, and ACD ACS Applied Materials Interface, that is 8.2. Talenta is 6.1. Physical Reviews Letter 9.0. Physical Review B 3.7. So like this, these are very good journals, but these are having lower impact. In the right side, you see Lancet is having 168.9, means 170. And this cancer research, cancer journal for clinicians, 254. That was the highest impact factor in 2024. And also Nature Reviews Drug Discovery, this is 120. And British Medical Journal, 105. So lot of variations are there in from field to field. So you have to go for choose this as a yardstick, not for the final decision making things. This you can use as a tool to see that whether the journal is good or not, but this is not the ultimate thing. Okay. यहाँ से बंद करते हैं. अगर 5 मिनट गैप चाहिए तो 5 मिनट गैप देके फिर से स्टार्ट करेंगे. नेक्स्ट क्लास में ज़्यादा नहीं है मेरा स्लाइड्स, तो थोड़ा 5 मिनट गैप देके करेंगे या कंटिन्यू करेंगे? कंटिन्यू करेंगे? ठीक है, ठीक है, तो फिर जल्दी खत्म कर देंगे. So along with this impact factor, nowadays people use this site score for choosing the various journals. So this is also similar to impact factor. आप कोई भी journal में आजकल देखेंगे तो impact factor भी लिखा रहता है, and we also get the site score. So this is another method to see that whether the journal is good or not. So site score of an academic journal is a measure reflecting the yearly average number of citations to recent articles published in the particular journal. So it is produced by Elsevier. That was produced by that JCR, but it is published by that was published by the Web of Science. This is by Elsevier. Okay. So the journal evaluation metric is launched in 2016. So this is an alternative to JCR impact factor. Site score is based on citations collected for articles published in the preceding 4 years. In that impact factor, they wish to collect the citations in last 2 years. Here they collect the citations in last 4 years. Okay. So site score are designed to compete with the 2-year JCR impact factor. So how it is calculated? The site score for the year Y is given by citations in Yth year, previous year, previous to previous year, and the previous to previous year divided by all the publications in last 4 years. Okay. So in the example I have given here for 2020, Nature has a site score of 70.2 because the citations in 2021. Before 2020, these scores were calculated differently. So nowadays, this is the particular formula. It is used from 2020 onwards. So in 2021, I have given that particular example. Like this, to 21 we are calculating. So 21 citation, 20 citation, 19 and 18. 4 years citation you have to calculate, and 4 years total number of publications you have to take it in account. So this is the number of 4 years citations, and this is the number of the all number of papers published during that 4 years. The number is coming as 70.2. So like this, site score is getting calculated. This is taking care of 4 years things, but JCR is that impact factor is 2 years. Okay. So here I have just compared the impact factor and site score here. Evaluation period is 2 years here, it is 4 years. This is by JCR database, this is by Scopus. And so who can access this? JCR impact factor. Subscribers are only able to access how it is getting calculated and what are the citations involved, everything. This is anyone can see how they are calculated and what are the things are taken into consideration. So here evaluated items are articles and reviews. Here articles, reviews, conference papers, database, book chapters, all these things they include in the citations. That's why the numbers are different. Okay. So these are just tools to see that whether the journal is good, because if no more numbers of citations are there, we consider them as a good publishing thing, but you cannot choose as a quality. It may not be the perfect perfectly calculated. Okay. So like this, there are some author level matrices of this I told you about, which how to choose journals for publications. So how to see that which person is publishing in which type of field, which is having a good impact, and who is having good citations. Those data information we get from author level matrices. आपने देखा रहेगा स्कोपस वगैरह देखते हैं ना, आपने सब ज्वाइन करने से सबका ज्वाइनिंग हो गया, सारे ब्रांच का हो गया ना, तो आपने तो पक्का देखा रहेगा ना, आप जिसके पास ज्वाइन किए रहेंगे उसका क्या क्या इंडेक्स है, एच इंडेक्स और I10 इंडेक्स, और यहाँ पे तो नहीं होता है तो यहाँ पे वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, हम जब जो एरिया में काम करते हैं, we are not actual proper researchers like university professors. Here sometimes our work is different. We are given a assigned job to complete that thing. Along with also we are teaching in this Homi Bhabha HBNI university. We are also doing research and those things. So for us, you may not. That's why I am telling that you may not always judge a person from this yardsticks. You have to use this yardstick plus something. So plus, हाँ उनका भी नहीं है, वो भी सुना हमने तो इसीलिए ना, so these are tools to see that normally how the person is doing well in that particular field in the recent years. Okay. Sometimes recent years also nahi hota hai. After certain years also that H index gets increased. Those things we'll just see. So some author level matrices are citation matrices that measure the bibliometric impact of individual authors. Okay, so the index of research authors is used to measure their impact and productivity based on the number of citations their publications receive. Because certain rules we have to make now, how to see, because there are lakhs of researchers are there in the world. Who is doing how many, how to see? You cannot go on searching their papers, all the papers we cannot see. So that's why these are tools by which we can see that this particular person is doing how many research works, and how many people are citing it. And nowadays I told everything is getting based on citations, how your work is getting accepted by others. Okay, so that can be a decent tool. So H-index matrices provide numbers to quantify the impact, taking into account both the quantity of papers and the quality as judged by how often they are cited. So if it is cited more times, then we can feel that yes, the work may be good. So there are certain like H-index is best known as a author level matrix. Since it was proposed in 2005, it has gained a lot of popularity. But there are certain limitations. That's why other versions are also came, like G index, M index, I10 index, etc. G index में क्या होता है कि good number of cited paper को वो थोड़ा value देते हैं. So, but it's not that popular. People still use this H index mostly, and I10 index. तो थोड़ा सा उसके ऊपर हम देखेंगे. So primary reasons for author indexing is quantify the research impact, because I told that a lot of people are there working in that particular field. How to see that which person is working and publishing more, so that we can get quantify the research impact. Indexes like H index, etc., help to evaluate researchers' significance by balancing the number of publications with the number of citations they have received. So this indicate the productivity and quality sometimes, and also facilitate comparison. So we have to compare between if it to two persons. So this can be taken as a yardstick. So guide some academic decisions like hiring committee, grant agency, etc. So they have to hire some professor in that institute. So how they will judge? So they go for seeing that how much is the person's credibility by how much is the H index, how much is the that I10 index, etc. So that whether to grant that particular that program for that particular person or not. So those type of research decision making, it helps, and also it enhances the visibility and credibility. So if you are publishing your H index is more, than more people know you. So that's the way it is. So what is H index? So H index is a matrix used to assess the impact and productivity. So the definition says that H index is the highest number H such an author has published. An author has published H papers, each of which has been cited at least H times. ये थोड़ा definitions वाला हो गया. So for an example, on H index of 10 means a researcher has published at least 10 research papers that have been cited 10 times or more. Okay. So अगर मेरे पास 50 पेपर है, ओके, पर 50 पेपर में से सिर्फ 10 पेपर है जिसका 10 बार साइटेशन हुआ है, तो मेरा क्या हो जाएगा? एच इंडेक्स 10 हो जाएगा. सोच लो कि मेरे पास 100 पेपर है, हाँ, एक पेपर का 100 बार साइटेशन हुआ, उसको चूंकि सारे बाकी पेपर्स का 2 ही साइटेशंस हुआ है. उसके बाद मैंने एकदम ग्राउंड लेवल का कुछ काम करा था, 2 ही साइटेशंस का भी तो हुआ है, बट एक पेपर मैंने अभी काम किया है, बहुत अच्छा किया है, जो 100 से या 150 साइटेशंस हुआ है, पर मेरा एच इंडेक्स कितना होगा? 2 ही होगा, क्योंकि मेरा 2 पेपर है जिसका साइटेशंस 2 है या ज्यादा है उससे. ठीक है. So here example I have written, if an author has 5 publications, 9, 7, 6, 2, 1 citations, so ordered from the greatest to the latest, then the researcher has H index of 3, because the author has 3 publications with 3 or more citations. Okay. So first जो जिसका 1 हुआ है और जिसका 2 हुआ है, उस दोनों को हम कंसिडर नहीं करेंगे. 3 publications है जिसका 3 से ज्यादा हुआ है, एक का 6 हुआ है, एक का 7 हुआ है, एक का 9 हुआ है, but 3 publications का इतना हुआ है. तो इसलिए publications and number of citations both they consider, so that's why this person is getting a H index of 3. Okay. However, author does not have 4 publications with 4 or more the citations. That's why the H index here is 3. समझ में आया सबको? तो एग्जाम में H index कैलकुलेट करने के लिए दूंगा तो आप कर लेंगे ना? हाँ? So an author with only 1 publication can have maximum how much H index? 1. Good. तो अगर मेरे पास 100 पब्लिकेशन है तो मेरे पास मिनिमम कितना होगा H इंडेक्स? मेरे पास 100 पब्लिकेशन है साइटेशंस का पता नहीं। हाँ, हाँ, मीन्स नीचे से लोएस्ट कितना हो सकता है मेरा? 0 भी हो सकता है। अगर मेरा पेपर कभी भी साइटेशन नहीं हुआ है तो मेरा एच इंडेक्स 0 ही होगा। ठीक है, अगर 100 पेपर है, एक पब्लिकेशन का एक ही बार साइटेशन हुआ है और किसी का कुछ नहीं हुआ तो 1 साइटेशन होगा। ठीक है, तो सिमिलरली आई हैव जस्ट रिटन दैट if their publications has one or more citations, even 50 citations, the H index will be 1. So on the other hand, an author with many publications, each only one citation if it is having, then also the H index will be 1. Okay, like 100 publications है पर सबका एक बार ही citation हुआ है, उसका भी H index एक ही होगा. So number of publications भी ज्यादा होना चाहिए और हर एक publications उतने बार भी cite होना चाहिए, उसमें से आपका H index बढ़ेगा. ठीक है, so here the purpose is same, the aims are to capture both the quantity and impact of researchers particular work. So in considers number of publications along with number of citations. So number of publications, citations, both they considered while calculating the H index. So H index serves as an alternative to more traditional journal impact factor. Journal impact factor tells that a particular journal, but here it tells about the particular researcher. Because only the most highly cited articles contribute to the H index, its determination is a simpler process. A higher H index generally indicates the greater impact and productivity. However, good H index varies by field and career stage. So, field to field citations are different. So, if you are working in a cancer research field, there is more probable that your work will be cited. So, for each publication, the number of citations, if it is more, your H index also more will be more. If you are having 2 papers with 20 citations, how many, what will be your publications? It will be 2 only. But with your career, if you are working in such field, so if you are working for few more years, you are having 30 publications and each are having 20 citations. So your H index has increased from 2 to 20 because every publications, because you are working in such a field, are more. Okay. The H index can be manually determined by using citations databases and using automatic tools also. Subscription-based databases such as Scopus and Web of Science provide automated calculators. They having their own way of calculating the H index. So there are certain limitations of this H index. So what are the limitations? We'll just see. The H index does not count the number of authors in the particular paper. Okay. In the original paper, Hearst suggested that partitioning citations among co-authors. One such fractional index is also known as fractional H index. But nowadays, nobody uses this fractional H index. It index is for, so like I'm having a publications in which 20 authors are there. And one of the author is a very reputed one. Okay. So the many people will cite that particular paper. So if I am collaborating with that person and in my many of the paper I am using that particular person's name. Okay. So probability of getting citations will be more. So depending upon the co-authors also, your H index can vary. That's why in the beginning I told that sometimes people go for this gifting co-authorship. So they sometimes want to increase the value of that particular paper. So, but that is not ethical. So in the beginning, I told that whoever has really contributed to your work, that person also should be your co-author, not that you have to gift some persons and you want some person's name in your journal. That's why you just keep that person in your authors list. This is unethical practice. Okay. So like number of co-authors, one such fractional index I have told. The H index discards the information contained in author's placement at the author's list also. Because if it is there are many authors, let us assume 15 authors are there in the paper. All the person will get the same number of citations, but one person might have really worked heavily as the co-author, so that first author or the corresponding author, they might have worked fully, and some people may have contributed in some smaller versions, but all will get the citations in the same number. So the H index will not differentiate between those things. Okay. Then also it varies from databases to databases. This H index can differ significantly between databases like Google Scholar, Scopus, etc. because they index different content and cover different time periods. So how much time they are considering for calculating this H index, those are also for site to site databases to databases. It sometimes they are different. So you'll get Google Scholar databases are normally higher compared to the normal H index and all. Okay. So discipline dependent also, this I have already told that where in the various discipline where the number of citations are more, they will the possibility that they will get more H index. So it is not reliable for comparing researchers across different fields due to varying citation cultures. Okay. So like in our field, sometimes in the nuclear field, the researchers are less. So now we cannot compete with other researchers we are having popular field. Okay. So it favors established researchers. It tends to favor authors who are mid to late in their careers, as the score can only increase over time. So if the person is new to field, even if they are publishing very nice work and they are doing nice work and publishing and getting citations of hundreds for their first beginning papers. Okay, so if they are publishing 5 papers, so their maximum H index will be 5. But if the person will go on working for quite late period, then only the number of publications will increase and the H index will increase. Okay, so that time the number of things also may change. So for it favors some established author, the public publishers, and also it ignores article importance. It does not differentiate between different types of papers such as highly influential single author article versus low impact review articles. Okay, if it is a review article type of thing, lot of people will cite that particular. But if the person has really worked in a particular field and published a really path breaking things in that particular zone of work, it's not a general type of work but something very innovative they have done, but it will not go to the many researchers. So the index will not be that much. So good journal, good publications, good work also, sometimes it is ignored during this type of calculations. Okay. So what factors that influence this H factors? I have listed few. Achieving a high index H index can be a long-term process that requires sustained research productivity and impact. Here are some factors I have listed. First is publish in high impact journals. So if you are going for high impact factor journals, so there is a probability that your paper will be seen by many, because people see that if it is a high impact, they will see, they will try to cite that work also. Okay, so first is publish, try to publish in high impact journals and make research openly accessible. So if your work is openly accessible, then probability that more people will see that your work and they will cite your work. So that in that way, that is a possibility of getting high H index. Collaborate with other researchers. So if you are working in a particular single author type of or very confined manner, so only that area will be covered. But if you are collaborating with other people, so they are means known persons, or that they are uh, field of a person also will try to see your work and they will sometimes cite your work also. Okay, and also try to balance quality and quantity. And this is important because quality you cannot compromise, quality you have to maintain, but along with the quality also you have to increase the quantity. Number of publication, if it is not increasing and if you are getting satisfied that I'll publish one publications per year and it should be benchmark papers, so after 5 years period of your research, you'll get only 5 publications, and each way is having 100 citations. Okay, but how much will be your H index? It will be 5 only. Okay, so you have to balance with quality as well as the quantity if you are intending to have high H index. Okay, but you may think that whoever there are certain researchers who doesn't care about H index and all. So they were told that I'll do good research, I'll do ethical research, I'll publish whatever minimum publications that is possible, but it should be benchmark papers. Okay, So your H index may not be good also, but still then you can consider that fellow as a benchmark person in that particular field. Okay. Stay active in the field. So if you are not active in your field, you are not means having a continual publications, then also your H index will go down. Okay, because people will see, and all these citations, everything that come from last 2 years or the last 4 years work. So if you are not active in your field, your citations will go down. Okay, so sometimes depending upon how many citations are getting calculated, that impact factor, everything takes into account. So you have to active in your field, and also sometimes you promote your research. This we are not allowed and we don't do, but many persons I have seen that they put their work in that Facebook, Instagram, and nowadays many ResearchGate and all, they flash there. And I have seen few BRC persons also. We are not supposed to do that, but people put their work and put in Facebook. Facebook, I have having accounts. That's why I know I don't have Instagram, so I'm not having the real whether people are really putting on not in Instagram, but people are putting. I heard that, but in Facebook, I have seen that people are flashing their that front page figures and all. So looks attractive. So Facebook is having a wide means type of people, and other people will very easily see and appreciate your work also. If they are finding it is good also, they will cite it. Okay, so your H index probability of getting higher index will more. Huh. Hmm. Uh, Retractions are right now it's not taking into account. Yeah. The next is conduct timely research. So if you are doing research within a stipulated time and quickly and publishing, then also that the probability number of publications will be more. Indirectly, the H index will go on. So these are certain things about H index. So next, just one more slide I'll share. This is I10 index. Instead of H index also, people are now using this I10 index. The I10 index is developed by Google Scholar. It is similar to that of H index. The number of publications an author has been cited at least 10 times is known as I10 index. It is specifically used by Google Scholar. The calculation is its simple count of publications that meet the 10 citations threshold. Okay. So purpose is it gives a basic measure of author's scholarly output and influence based on citations. Availability is that a I10 index is only available with Google Scholar, accessible through an author's Google Scholar profile. If you are having a Google Scholar profile, you can access this I10 indexes. So an I10 index of 25 indicates that every 25 articles published, the researcher has received at least 10 citations. Okay. So if I am having 100 publications and the maximum number of citations, the number of citations vary from 1 to 9. What will be my I10 index? It will be 0, because none of the publication is having a 10 number of citations. Okay. So if I am having two publications, okay, and both are having 50-50 uh, this citations. So what will be my I10 index? It will be 2. Okay. So number of publications also matters, and also how many times it is more than 10, that also matters. Okay. So this way I10 index is simpler to calculate, also simpler to understand. So this way H index and I10 index are calculated, and people normally use this to see that which researcher is working in which field and how much is their impact in that particular area of research. Okay. So this much I wanted to share you. Thank you all. Okay. अटेंडेंस है ना?